What we got here is an upgraded version of the Daiwa Executive Kit. And when I say upgraded, it's the rod, but a different reel. I have a Shimano Sienna 1000. Those are great little reels. You can get them from Walmart, you can get them just about anywhere. This is a 1000 size. It's a great reel, really smooth, casts a mile, got 4-pound caging on here on this Executive rod. Now the Executive rod is a 6-piece rod that you can convert from regular spinning rod to fly rod if you want to do that. I believe she's 6'6", let me get that right. Yeah, 6.5 foot. Takes 4 to 8 pound test, a little bit flimsy. It's light action though, so that's what it is. We're giving this a try today with this reel. And really, so far, I've been pretty darn happy with the way it feels. I don't know about getting fish on the end of it. Haven't had that happen yet. Today is the band bash here at the campground, so there's music just playing at the pavilion, just blaring away. I've heard everything this morning. I've heard the Georgia Satellites, I've heard Joe Walsh, I've heard some country, 2 guitar and bass picking, I've heard a little bit of everything today. This rod is a little whippy, but I don't seem to mind it. But this is not bad, but it's a 6-piece rod, you know. But it's not bad, it works okay. That's why I wanted to put a different reel with it. Something a little smoother, something a little less apt to give me a problem. And now the Siennas, I've used them. I've never really had a problem out of a Sienna, which is, you know, that's what you want, dependability. But it'd be nice to actually catch a fish. Man, what I wouldn't do to catch a fish. When I'm out fishing, the one thing I like to do is catch a fish. The only thing about the Sienna that I've noticed is the bail wire's small. It's very thin. So I wouldn't go laying it down on the bed of the pickup truck or the boat and step on it. You may be having to straighten your wire back out again. I can tell you now, just from casting and retrieving though, this is such a nice feel. Well, I see about a 3-foot carp out in front of me. If I get a hold of him, I guarantee you we could test something. We could test just how fast 4-pound line will either break or 100 and some yards of it will go out at an extremely moderate rate of very fast. It casts pretty far though. These little Siennas, for the money that you pay for these things, they're not bad. In Walmart, every now and again, if you pay attention in Walmart, they'll throw them on clearance. And I got one at Walmart, I think, for $22. And for what I'm feeling here smooth-wise, and its castability distance-wise, 22 bucks, that's a bargain. But I would like to catch a fish. I mean, that would make all the difference. Oh, there we go, there we go. I did say I would like to catch a fish, and sometimes the fish gods listen. Or at least these crappie do, anyway. Crappie do. That's funny right there, I don't care who you are. Crappie do. All right, we got us a crappie. He wasn't very far off the bank, and he's kind of cold, to be honest with you. He's got a little bit of a chill to him. Not a bad fish. Thank you, sir. That was fun. This particular setup for that is great. It is light, okay? Not ultralight, but light. But that worked out quite well. Well, the wind got a hold of me on that one. The breeze is actually coming from my left, but that's fine. Let's see if we can get us another. That was pretty good. Oh, one had it right there. I'm not going to tell you that I'm a fan of foam handles. This is not bad though. Seems to it'd be comfortable enough. I mean, if you take into consideration where your hand is actually at, it's not really on the foam. When you figure out its release point, the flexibility release point of when you're casting it, you can actually whip this thing pretty far. I switched to a 3/32 jig because I wanted to be able to get a few more feet out of my cast. And there's nothing saying, you know, these kits and all this stuff, there's nothing saying you can't change stuff. I put this reel in the box just by taking the hand crank out, putting it in the box, and then laying the reel in the same place that the Daiwa graphite reel laid. So, you know, there's nobody saying you can't modify these things and make them work for you. And if they are saying it, there's a fish right there. If they are saying it, then you take what you have in your hand, whether it's the rod, a belt, a rock, whatever, and you crack them upside the cheekbone with it. Because these things, you know, you got to make them work for you. You're the one going out there that has to struggle or, you know, have a good time. The other reel, the graphite reel that came with it, I think it was a 1350 or something, AGBQ-BR573. It was something, and they put all these numbers and stuff. I'm pretty sure it was AG 1350 or something like that. But it worked okay, don't get me wrong, it worked all right, and it'd been great to have bought that back in the day and been able to take this thing on an airplane. There's that hit again. Okay, that time you ain't getting off. It was in the same spot. Same identical spot, I mean inches away. What are you? Oh, you're a crappie that got off. So you waited to get way up here to get off. Why would you do that to me? Okay, 25, but this rod has just enough flex, just enough to be able to really, well, push through the paper lip of a crappie anyway. Come around here. You got a hole in your lip. That we almost didn't catch him because he's got a hole in that mouth over there. That's probably the 11th time I've caught him. So what I'm doing is I am just letting it ease its way down to the bottom just before the line begins to stop V'ing the water. I start to retrieve, which is keeping that lure about probably 6 to 12 inches above. There's that hit again. I'm definitely getting into the zone right in there. About 6 to 12 inches above the bottom, and then of course, you know, with me standing on land, it's kind of coming up at, say, a 37.2 degree angle. So I tried right back where we were getting some hits with the Kalins, shad, bleeding Tennessee shad, whatever you want to call that. And unfortunately, the baby bass is not doing it at the moment. So we're going to go straight out in front of us. Like I said, I have a tendency to fan. It's what I do. I try to stay in like 15 to 20 foot increments, and on the way back I'll cast in between them. Kind of hard to be exact, but regardless, that's what I try to do, because that puts me where those crappie are at. Because there's a hit right there, and for whatever reason he did not. Oh, okay, the second one committed, or maybe it was the first. Now I got people pulling up on the other side. They're going to see me catching fish, and it's going to be over. Oh, we got us a gill. Hello, gill. Oh, gill. That's why it happened twice, because gill went after it. That's why it happened, because gill. Oh, there's another hit. Boop! We got him though. That feels like a decent crappie right there is what that is. Got him in the bottom lip, so I won't be lipping him. As a matter of fact, the hook isn't even through his lip. How did I get him in? Oh, it went through his lip and then into his bottom lip. Decent crappie. An old baby bass. Usually baby bass in the smoke and silver sparkle will just about, oh, there we go again. Okay, we're on them. We're on them. I played him a little while. I was having fun. There we go. All right, another crappie there. this is working out quite well. I know because my top of my thigh is covered in fish slime. That's another thing that tells you how good you're doing. Man, did I have a breakfast this morning. Goodness gracious. From Mooch's. I may have mentioned it in the video previous to this on the tires to the monkey, but my Lord. 3 huge pancakes, sausage, hash browns, scrambled eggs, and a grape crush. What a breakfast. Wow. Oh, there we go. We got one. I don't know what that is. I'm saying gill because it's jerky, swimmy. Yep, gill. And gill is usually where I call it. So that's probably what we're going to do, is we're going to call it. Another pale gill. Thank you, gill. So, Shimano Sienna 1000. I would say a 1000 or a 500. Even, you might be able to go to a 2000 on this, but it is a very, it's a very limber rod. But I think the 1000 for this, or 500, would be perfect. 4-pound line. And not an expensive reel. I don't know where you live. I don't know. They might be up there further. You know, things are changing as far as prices goes these days, but I'm pretty sure this is one I got at Walmart for I think $29.99. If you got this kit, the Executive, that's a great modification right there. That's an upgrade. I would do that all day long. So I'm going to do y'all a favor and we're going to just leave without having to look at my face. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next one, whatever the next one may be.